everyone. I'm really excited about our open house today. This is for our nutrition and dietetic internship programs. It's the Master of Science in Public Health and Nutrition and our dietetic internship. These are both great programs. I've been at Tulane for, well, let's just say a long time. And the more I'm here, the more I really appreciate the work that everybody that's involved in this program and these two programs are doing. It's really exciting. Today you're going to hear from faculty members and staff members and alumni and students. And there's more of all those folks here at Tulane. I encourage you to look them up. We have really interesting faculty members, Melissa Fuster and Dr. Melissa Fuster and Dr. Chelsea Singleton, who are not able to join us on the call today, but they're doing really interesting research. I recommend you take a look at their work. And then, Dr. O'Malley and myself, so I think we're also doing some interesting work too. So get to know us online. But for today, you're going to get a guided introduction to what we do, and then I think there'll be time for questions. And so with no further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Dr. O'Malley to start to guide us.
Thanks so much, and thanks everyone for joining today. I'm going to spend a few minutes talking about the MSPH Nutrition Graduate Program as well as the Dietetic Internship. We'll cover a little bit about the admissions processes for both of those programs, and then pass it off to our panelists who are able to join us today to talk about the student experience here. If you have questions throughout the time, you're welcome to put those into the chat. And we will also facilitate a Q&A session towards the end of the hour. I am going to go ahead and get started. So our MSPH nutrition program is a 45 credit hour program that is focused on training future public health leaders to shape policies, administer programs, and communicate to the public in order to improve nutritional health and food security of populations. Some of the course content that we offer as part of our program ranges from local food systems, population nutrition assessment, food policy, health systems policy, and evaluation of public health programs. All students in the graduate program also complete a 200-hour applied practice experience towards the end of their program. So this allows you to work under the guidance of a public health practitioner in the field to get real-world experience and also be able to practice all of those skills that you've learned in the classroom setting and put those into a real-world context to really get you ready and prepared to enter the workforce. The master's program does have part-time or full-time options, and the majority of the coursework is offered in an in-person mode in the classroom. We don't have any specific admissions requirements for our program that differ from the school's general admission requirements. So you can find all of that information as well as tuition and fee structures on the school public health website. The Tulane Dietetic Internship prepares entry-level dietitians for leadership in community health practices through education, research, and practice that's directed at health promotion and disease prevention among individuals and within their communities. You can see some photos from the last couple of years of our intern graduates. The schedule for the internship is a full-time program. It takes about 10 months. During this time, you will receive over 1,300 hours of supervised practice experience in the community-based setting, in medical nutrition therapy settings, and focused in food service management. You can expect most weeks that you'll have supervised practice experience 4 to 5 days between Monday through Friday. Field trips and class meetings will be scheduled on some Fridays. Some of those are on Zoom. And then over the course of the year, Orientation happens during the first 2 weeks of the program, and the next cohort is scheduled to begin August 27th, 2025, and will finish June 26th of 2026. Our program has, Ms. Marcia Piazzun has done an amazing job as program director to facilitate such a variety of partnerships throughout the city and outside of the city as well. Over 90 partnership agreements with preceptors and host organizations. So you will get an incredibly rich and wide variety of experiences within the internship. This ranges from MNT diabetes and renal to oncology and cardiac rehab, research and WIC, culinary medicine, community-based organizations working on food assistance programs and nutrition feeding programs, school food service, inpatient, outpatient, basically any area of dietetics that you might be interested in exploring, you will have the opportunity to get through this program. Some of the requirements for the Tulane internship. You do need to have completed an Ascend accredited didactic program in dietetics or have an intent to complete the program. If you don't have the verification statement, a bachelor's degree, and either be completing the Tulane master's degree, completing a master's degree somewhere else, or coming into the program with a master's degree. GPA expectations are above 2.8 on a 4.0 scale for our program. And some information about what is needed to apply. So by February 15th is the current deadline to have submitted for August enrollment. Applications should be submitted through DICAS, the Dietetic Internship Computer Application Service. This includes a personal statement that you're writing about your interest in the program and pursuing a career in dietetics, 3 letters of recommendation, transcripts, and your DPD verification statement or that intent to complete. There's additionally a 2-page Tulane-specific application form that will be submitted, a video that you're asked to record of yourself answering some questions, and then either documentation of intent to complete a graduate program. There are partnerships that our internship has, of course, with our own programs at Tulane, but in addition with a few other institutions, including Drexel, Nichols, LSU, and Johnson and Wales. So if you are a current student or applying to a graduate program within one of those other institutions, please reach out to us and your program director to talk about the pre-select application process, which does happen a bit, which is ongoing right now, but does happen before that February 15th deadline. So we also have an opportunity to interweave the Master of Science in Public Health Nutrition with the Tulane Dietetic Internship. So if you're interested in pursuing both here at Tulane, you're able to earn 12 graduate credit hours through the internship that fulfill elective credits towards that 45 credit hour MSPH nutrition program. And if you're doing both, you're able to complete both of them within about 25 months' time. In order to be eligible, you do have to have already completed a didactic program in dietetics from an accredited program. Tulane does not currently offer all of the courses that are needed to meet those requirements. Additionally, I wanted to spend just a few minutes talking about an exciting additional training program. It's the Maternal and Child Health Nutrition Leadership Program. It's a HRSA-funded traineeship in which students are able to grow leadership skills through nutrition research experience, clinical and community-based field rotations, teaching opportunities, and structured mentorship. It offers eligible students a taxable stipend of $10,000. And the program is designed for students who are current registered dietitians or who've previously completed an accredited DPD program and are also eligible for the Tulane internship. So again, showing that enhanced practical training that's provided, the student support, including a stipend and conference travel support, and these additional eligibility requirements. Anybody who does submit an application into the MSPH nutrition program, upon acceptance into that program, you're prompted to apply then to the specific nutrition leadership training program if you meet the eligibility requirements. And at the end of the presentation and the slides that we have for you today, I'm happy to answer any questions that you have about any of these programs and opportunities for you. And now I'm going to pass off to my colleague in admissions who can tell you more about the admissions process for the school.
Thank you, Dr. O'Malley. Hi, everyone. My name is Lisa Bliss Barnes. I am the Director of Admissions here at Sylvia Scott Weatherhead School of Public Health and Tropical Medicine. That is a mouthful. I'm just still getting used to saying it. So let's talk about how you would apply to the nutrition program. It is via SOFIS. You would need to create an account on SOFIS and submit the following: your official transcripts from any and all institutions attended. That includes if you went to a community college. If you put it in your application, they will find out. So make sure you include that. A personal statement, 2 letters of recommendation, a resume, or a CV. If you're a student that earned a degree outside of the US or Canada, you would need to submit a WEST, an ECE, or SPAN-TRAN evaluation. As of right now, SOFIS only verifies WEST. So you would need to send your ECE or SPAN-TRAN evaluation directly to our admissions office, and I will drop our information in the chat right now so you know where to send that to. It is sphtmadmissions@tulane.edu. International students must also submit a TOEFL or IELTS, and our minimum is 89 or a band of 6.5 for your English evaluation. If you are from a country that is an English-speaking country, and we do have a list on our website of what those English-speaking countries are, you can just send us an email at that email address I just put, and we will waive that. Now, let's talk about our priority deadlines and being considered for funding. So spring of 2025, unfortunately, our priority deadline has passed as of October 1st, but we do still have time to accept your application. So, and we do have funding left. So send me an email if you have questions. I might be able to work a little magic for you, right? So the final deadline for spring is December 1st. For summer 2025, it's February 1st. For the final deadline is March 15th. And then for fall next year is March 1st. And the final deadline is June 15th. What priority deadline means is you will be automatically considered for a scholarship without any additional application if you get it in on time. Again, if you are interested in starting in the spring, reach out to me. I would be happy to see if I can work some magic. Dr. O'Malley, if I can have the next slide. If you have questions, I need you to reach out. We want to hear from you. So you can either scan that QR code, or you can send us an email, text us, or give us a phone call. We also have something called We're Here Wednesdays, and if you scan that QR code, you would be able to find the link for that. Every Wednesday from 5 to 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, we have open office hours. We also have various other open office hours, and we want to hear from you. Reach out and say, hey, I have questions about the application. If you just don't understand maybe a part of the SOFIS application, how to write your personal statement, we want to help you. So feel free to connect with us. I will also drop the link for those who might be joining us on their iPad or phone. And that is the link for connecting with us and saying, hey, please let me know a little bit about this nutrition program. And I always offer students who reach out the possibility to talk to a current student. We have some current students that are on right now. If you would like to talk to alum or current student, we can also help you set that up. So please don't be a stranger. We're here for you. Dr. O'Malley, I think you're still.
Thank you. Thanks so much, Lee. And wanted to end by sharing my contact information. That I am the associate, I should have said this at the beginning, but I'm the associate director for our nutrition programs and our leadership training program. Ms. Marcia Piazziun is the director for the dietetic internship. The contact information and website links to get more information about both of those programs, as well as learning more about the ongoing research portfolios of our faculty. You can also find that information through the links on the website that are on the slide. And we also have some social media accounts that Alex, who is on the panel today, you'll hear from shortly, does manage and often highlights activity that our faculty are doing, that our current students and alumni are doing. So those are other great ways to get a little bit more context and information about our program. Let's see. With that, I'm going to stop sharing slides and we're going to transition now to hear from our current students and alum. All right. So I am going to ask those of you who joined as panelists today. I'll just ask you to introduce yourself and then initially talk about what drew you to Tulane's program. What was it that stood out to you about the programs that we offer and differentiated from other programs that you might have been looking at? And I'll pass it off to Alex first to get us started.
Okay, can everyone hear me? Okay, all right. Hi, everyone. I'm Alex. I'm in the MSPH nutrition program here, and then I'm also going to be doing the dietetic internship next year, and I'm in the nutrition leadership MCH training program. And I think the training program is more specifically what drew me to Tulane. I think it was exciting to see like all the different rotations I'd be able to do and all the experience I could get through that before I go into my dietetic internship. And so I think that's what excited me. Also coming to New Orleans, I think also was very cool to me, and getting out of, I'm from Texas, so getting out of state and going somewhere different and learning different area and different people and the needs of different population, I think also interests me. So yeah, I'm happy to be here.
Thanks so much, Alex. Leia?
Hey guys, I'm Leia. So I actually went to Tulane for undergrad and studied public health because I always knew I wanted to do something kind of in the health field, but I knew I didn't necessarily want to be a doctor or nurse or something like that. So that's how I started studying public health. And then during undergrad, I realized that I was specifically interested in public health nutrition. That was kind of always what I was drawn to when we had to talk about like or choose topics to research. So I ended up doing Tulane's combined degree program. So I stayed for my master's with a concentration in nutrition. I really loved learning about food policy. That was one of my favorite classes. And just the more I learned about public health nutrition, the more I also wanted to learn about it kind of at an individual level. So that kind of inspired me to then go back and do more nutrition undergrad level courses, and then eventually do the Tulane DI. And I knew I wanted to do it at Tulane because I mean I had done all my school here, I love the culture here, and I know it was where I wanted to be.
Thanks so much, Leia. Joseph?
Hi everyone, I'm Joseph. Wait, what were the questions again? I totally just zoned out.
Totally fine.
Oh my
Just
gosh.
you're
What
good.
drew you to the
Um,
program?
yes,
Perfect.
and like a little bit of intro to yourself.
Gotcha. So I'm Joseph. I did my undergrad at Arizona State University, where I got my bachelor's degree in nutrition and dietetics. And at that point in my life, I was like, I don't want to be a dietitian. I was so like gung-ho about it. I was like, no, I'm not doing this. This is insane. And what drew me to that conclusion is I graduated during the pandemic, and so I saw a lot of individual care, and I wanted to work more on the community level, which then I found Tulane, where Tulane is so community. It's very person forward, but at a larger scale, which I found very intriguing. And so in the beginning, I did the MPH program that focused in nutrition, and then towards the end of that, I decided that I wanted to do the dietetic internship. And similar to what Alex said, is that the rotations are just so vast and widespread throughout the community and New Orleans that you kind of touch and reach a lot of populations and people. And so that really excited me into what I would be able to do. And yeah, that's why I did that.
Thanks so much, Joseph. Now I'd love to hear a little bit more about, you each have taken kind of different paths to get here. But and Alex, I know you're still in process within the program. But if each of you want to spend a moment to talk a little bit about some of the highlights of your time within the graduate program and or the internship. So courses or faculty, rotations, experiences with preceptors that really made a lasting impact on you. And maybe go in reverse order. So, Joseph, I'm going to throw it back to you first.
Okay. All right. So some highlights from the MPH program, because I did that first and that was about 2 years. I really enjoyed um, the amount of courses that Tulane offered that focused on HIV and also nutrition policy. Those are two of my interests. And so there was a lot of intersectionality between those two that I could find in New Orleans of, let's say, there are people who have HIV and also experiencing food insecurity that was easily like researchable, and you could talk to people at Tulane who have experience with that or could lead you in the right direction to find out more information about research or funding or programs in and around New Orleans. And for the internship, I did not think I was going to be a renal person at all. I was like, kidneys, gross, ew. But once I was in it, I was like, this is so much fun, and I really enjoyed it. It was such a notable and valuable experience that I had such a good time. I learned so much. What I really liked about it is that you could really stay on top of the patients that you were caring for because you saw them at least 2 days a week and they're there forever. You just don't get off of dialysis. And so you really build that relationship with them. They start to trust you, you trust them, and you can really see your work making an impact on their lives and the quality of their lives. And so that was one thing I took away from it, and I really enjoyed it.
Thanks so much, Joseph. Leia?
Um, when I like think about both like my master's and the internship, I really am realizing how much they kind of overlap. Even though, public health nutrition is more of it's like at a broader level, looking at communities and stuff, whereas nutrition and dietetics, you typically think of one-on-one. But I find that I use a lot of what I learned in my master's class, like in my everyday life with patients. So I'm not just talking to them like, oh, do you eat your fruits and vegetables? It's like, what's your access to this food like? Other environmental factors that I think if I didn't have that broader public health background, I wouldn't necessarily um, be thinking about, why people eat the way they do, how some people have access to more than others. So I really think that doing both the master's in public health it really kind of just gives you a broader understanding of where people are coming from and what shapes their lifestyle habits. So that's kind of one thing I think about when I think about doing the two programs. And then Joseph touched on this, but for the internship, we really do go to so many different types of places. So we're in like clinical settings, we're in food service, like whether that's in an elementary school or a high school. And then we're also in community settings. So we do like work with Gold Ring Teaching Kitchen, which I always think about. I love that one. So it's just you get such a good variety and it really helps you kind of hone in on your interest because it is a very broad, diverse field. And it kind of can kind of be overwhelming, like, oh, what do I want to do? But you get to explore all the different interests. So I really like that.
Thanks so much, Leia. Alex?
Um, Even though I haven't been here that long yet, I think my highlights so far have been being able to explore the area and explore different community partners and everybody around New Orleans that's working on the food system here. So, like, I've been able to join the Food Policy Action Council. I've been to talk to the on-campus dietitian at Tulane and see how like she's trying to help students with their nutrition and their habits while they're in college. And so I think that's been probably the thing that I've loved the most getting to do here so far.
Thanks, Alex. I know these are tough questions as you are early still in your time here, but appreciate your willingness to share. So next question I have, this may be more specific right now for Leia and Joseph to think about. What are some of the skills that you were able to learn either in the graduate program courses or through the internship that you feel like really set you up for success entering the job market? I don't know if either of you want to volunteer. Go first this time.
I can go unless
Thanks.
okay. I think a huge one for me is definitely communication at the professional level. So for all of our rotations, we have to reach out to our preceptors before the rotation just to introduce ourselves, see where we need to go, what time we need to be there. And it can be like it can be intimidating at first. But it really like kind of sets you up for once you're in the workplace, you talk to all sorts of different people, like not just in nutrition. Like I probably spend just as much time talking to the nurses and the social work and the attendings and the residents. So I think, you do work closely with a lot of dietitians, but in the rotations, you also work with people in other fields. And I think that like interprofessional collaboration was something I had never experienced before. So I think that, was a pretty major skill.
Definitely, and super transferable to lots of different settings too. Joseph?
One thing that the MPH program specifically taught me that is just baked into the curriculum is program design and the questions that you need to ask and the process that you need to understand to get from A to B really helped me throughout the internship and in life or since I got the master's. Just knowing where to begin, what questions to ask, and it's dependent on the type of population that you're working with. So like right now I work in eating disorder care. So it's like when you're working in different populations, you have to know where to start, where to begin, and who to ask. And so I don't think I would have had, I don't want to say it an advantage, but like I definitely would have been a lot more lost in a lot of the work that the community and the preceptors were doing had I not had that previous background in program design and development, and also just implementation, just getting it started, would have been a lot more difficult. But yeah, I think that was really fun. And then one other thing that I kind of like what Leigh was talking about is we have to be able to speak to what we do all the time. And so every week or every other week, you're meeting somebody new and you have to really get that speech down and really have to know about yourself and the things you do and the things you like. And so I definitely think that's another one of those skills that was ingrained into us.
Thanks so much. And Alex, if there's anything you want to add that you've picked up so far that you feel like is going to serve you well going forward, or something that you're looking forward to, hoping to build some additional skills?
I think building skills in like collaboration and facilitation, like how they were talking about not just talking to other dietitians, but other parts of the healthcare and the public health field. So I think that I've started doing that, and it's always really cool to see like what everyone's doing and how everyone's connected. And so I'm excited to like keep doing that, keep making connections, finding about all these different things.
Thanks. And also just want to remind attendees that if you have any questions for the panelists or for Marcia or myself about the programs, please feel free to put those in the chat or in the Q&A box at any point. I have a few more questions to ask y'all. Lee, I don't know if there's anything else too that is coming to mind for you that would make sense to hear a bit more from the students about. But feel free to jump in if there are. I'd love to hear a little bit more about, so each of you completed 200 or 300 hour, I think probably for Leia, applied practice experience, or are in the works to plan one for Alex. And would love to hear just a little bit more about that experience. And yeah, what you took away from that, what it was like to be in a practice-based setting. Maybe Joseph, would you mind?
We're talking about the APE.
Yes, yes.
Okay, yes. My summer practicum, so fun. I did mine at Crescent Care, and Crescent Care is an FQHC, which is a federally qualified healthcare center. And I did it with Ginger Bouvier, who I think is going to retire. I'm not sure yet. I think she is. I know. It's one of her last years, I think. And she's a dietitian over at Crescent Care, and Crescent Care is a healthcare center that's funded by the Ryan White Foundation that focuses on the LGBTQ community. And I found that so fascinating. I was like, where am I? What is this place? So I thought this was so fun. And I worked with Ginger over the summer and I did a couple things, but the one thing that I like vividly remember is I created a handout for their food pantry that included two parishes. It was Jefferson and Orleans Parish of all of the food pantries and food banks with the hours of operation and eligibility requirements. So they could hand that out to participants that don't qualify for the food pantry at Crescent Care. Because a lot of the biggest barrier to Crescent Care's food pantry was you have to be HIV positive and you have to be enrolled into the program. But a lot of the times, family members come in, people just go there for doctor's appointments that aren't HIV positive. So building that was a major, major resource because a lot of people don't realize where things are or how close they are to some resources. And one of my coworkers recently just said, you don't know you need something until you know about it. And that has just stuck with me since she said that. And that was the biggest thing that I took out of that experience was working with Ginger, creating that document, and just being that person that has the answer to someone's need.
I love that. Yeah, thanks for sharing.
I
Leah?
actually have a question.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Leah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, no, you're fine. Go.
No, please answer.
Oh, okay. My practicum was actually with Eat Fit NOLA. So they are a small like nonprofit associated with Oshner, run out of like the Oshner Fitness Center. And they work with like a lot of local restaurants and stuff to label healthier food items. But my time there was I kind of made it into my own research project essentially. So I was looking at Oshner's like food service items and what they offer for staff and patients and how that kind of compares to other hospitals across the country and seeing if there were ways to basically make what food Oshner offers like healthier and align more with like the Eat Fit nutrition standards. So I did a lot of research about like healthy hospital initiatives, and I talked to a lot of different like people in different organizations. So like I talked to someone in like the Philadelphia Public Health Department about like some of their initiatives and how they remove sugar sweetened beverages from like their hospitals. So I basically gathered a lot of information, and then with Molly, who runs Eat Fit, presented it to like the Ochsner C-suite, and this was right before COVID. So unfortunately got a little delayed with COVID. And then I mean, as far as I know, Molly told me she was still trying to advocate for healthier foods in their hospital, but that's what mine focused on, was like food policy and bringing that into our healthcare system.
Thanks, Leah. And Alex, I know you're still in the planning stages, but I don't know if you want to share a little bit about what your plans are for the practicum.
Yeah, I'm hoping to work with recirculating farms, and they need help with creating nutrition and cooking classes for a population in mid-city that they're working with young adults and their families. And so I'm hoping to do that, and I'd like to like create a cookbook for them, maybe create like a free website, like resource for them with different things on there related to nutrition. And then I'm also going to be doing a food insecurity and food access survey, hopefully, once everything gets
Thanks. Lee, did you have a question?
I did. So I know one of the common questions that I get from prospective students is, what did you write in your personal statement in order for you to be accepted into the program? So if you all wouldn't mind just delving a little bit into that, that would be great.
I don't think I ever it's been years. Let me take a second to think about that. I think I just was honest. I was myself. I just wrote about my experience and my goals with nutrition and what it would mean for me to move forward to an advanced degree, and how that would impact my life and how I would try to help others while doing that. And so I think that's the stance that I took. Was I wasn't necessarily like just me, but like more so like how can I collaborate and how can I work with everybody else while trying to get this advanced degree.
I think I reflected a lot of on why I wanted to do nutrition in the first place, why I was interested in public health, because I was coming from a dietetics program that was very much clinical and hospital focused. And so I was gonna do a 180 and do something very different. So I talked about that a lot, and then just kind of trying to align like my values of nutrition to what I felt like Tulane's program showed, to kind of like prove why I felt like I needed to go there and learn how I could succeed
Um, my personal statement for the master's I wrote when I was a junior in college, so in like 2017 or 2018. So I don't know if I fully remember, definitely something about, wanting to go more in depth into public health nutrition. But then I know for my dietetic internship, my personal statement, I focused a lot on how there's, you know, as people, there's like a lot of things we share, a lot of things we don't share, but one thing everybody shares is food, and how food is like, food's medicine. It's a powerful tool, and it's something that everyone deals with in their life. And I just think I talked about how it's one, so cool that we can use that like in the health field, and then two, about integrating it with public health at like a broader level, and just wanting to combine my public health like background with like individual nutrition. But I don't remember exactly what I wrote.
Those are all great answers. So very thorough. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. And I have one last Actually, two last, one fun question and one kind of umbrella question. I'll share the questions now so you can think about your response, especially to the second one. The first one is for potential applicants who maybe don't live in New Orleans now. What are some of your favorite things about being in New Orleans? So that's the first question, hopefully an easy, fun question. The second one is the one to think a little bit about, but what advice would you give to students who are going through the application process right now or considering application or maybe making decisions between programs of where to go? Any takers to
I'll
this
go
one?
first.
Thanks.
I will say I did move. So, um, my favorite things about New Orleans was being so close to everything. It felt like everything was so spread out, but it's really not. It's a 10-minute drive everywhere, you know? So like if you have friends in Mid-City, if you have friends on the West Bank, if you have friends in the Lower Garden, yeah, it only takes about 10-15 minutes to get anywhere, really. So, just being in that close proximity is just so fun and nice. And when you really start to make those friends and those close relationships, you're only like a hop, skip, and a jump and away. And it really is, it's going to sound like cliche, but really is about community and just like having those close-knit friends being so close that you can just go to the grocery store with, go on a walk with, and it's so just refreshing to have that versus other cities where you have to get on a subway or you have to drive 45 minutes or just be in a larger space or be stuck in suburbia because New Orleans isn't really suburbia. It's a city built within a city within its own self. And so it's just this like Russian doll of beauty that I think is amazing. And so many different neighborhoods that have their own personality and their own reputation. And then for advice with applying, like I said earlier, just be yourself, really have a good idea of what your intentions are and what you want, how you want to be as a dietitian, and how New Orleans can separate you. If you are really into community and public health, Tulane is definitely for you. If you like to, what am I trying to say? I forgot, but I do have some advice past the application process is that if you have specific skills and goal sets in mind, look at the jobs that you want to do in the future and how those might tie into Tulane's internship, and then like cross-reference those skills that you need to build with the rotations that are available to you in the internship and really work on those goals and skills so then you can build that rapport, that repertoire, and be able to set yourself up for the future.
Thanks so much, Joseph. And I'm going to pause for a second because we do have a couple of questions in the chat that I do want to address. So, Leah and Alex, you get a few more minutes to think on your responses. So we have a question from a student who is currently at LSU on a nutrition public health track, asking if they need to be in the dietetics program to apply for the internship. Marcia, do you want to respond to that?
Yes, you could easily get some classes if you're at LSU in a nutrition program because they have the DPD there. But you can't continue with just your degree and not get those courses to be able to do a traditional go into an internship the traditional way. There are some new programs, future model programs that include the internship and the DPD classes. So, but that is a totally different pathway at this point. So you may want to look into both and see what you prefer. Like Leah did the more traditional, went back and did the bits and pieces and put it together. So it may be a different order, but as long as everything's there. you can do it this way and, get a master's, a master's in DI or a separate master's or a separate DI or any of those things. But to do it the traditional way, you must have the DPD finished before you start the DI. You
Would
can do some classes like go ahead and start on a master's or whatever you want to do at whatever level you want to do. But you can get a DPD at an undergrad or a graduate level at this point.
And for LSU, Dr. Erin McKinley would
Right.
be the person to reach out to get more information on what additional courses you would need to take to complete
There,
those
yeah.
DPD requirements at LSU. And then Zoe, have another question from a student who's in a public health program, trying to take classes to get verification statement. So those classes vary by program. So my recommendation that I think I was probably given as I was navigating this by Marcia at the time years ago is to reach out to multiple DPD program directors and ask for them to review your transcript and provide you with a list of courses that you would need to take to meet their DPD program requirements and get that verification statement from them. Each program does vary slightly, so there may be one that is more beneficial to you based on what coursework you've already completed. Leah, I don't know if you want to talk just for a minute about your experience navigating this.
Yeah, so I kind of had like a very roundabout path towards getting here. So like I said, I did Tuline's public health program, so it's not an Ascend credited program because we don't have a nutrition undergrad program at this point. So I had all my public health classes, and then I did my master's, and then COVID happened. I had just finished my master's. I moved home, and that's when I decided I wanted to go forward with being a dietitian. So since I didn't have that DPD program from undergrad, I had to take all those nutrition classes to get the verification statement. So what I did, kind of what Kelia was saying, was I sent my transcripts to 2 or 3 different schools in my area. I was in New Jersey at the time. Sent my transcripts, said I'm interested in getting the verification statement, the DPD. These are the classes that I've already taken, like what can count towards classes that are required. And one of the schools near me, she was the program director was really like willing to take a lot of my Tulane public health classes and apply them to their requirements and kind of fit them in. So I ended up taking about a year and a half of like specific nutrition related courses, and it ended up being the same as getting like a second bachelor's in nutrition. But I had all of those credits from public health. So you have to reach out to a lot of different program directors, really explain your situation, send them your transcripts. And a lot of them are really willing to work with you. So, yes, did that answer?
Yeah, thanks. I think that's helpful to hear. And yeah, please, for students who have those questions, I'm happy to set a time to meet with you to talk through options and to kind of show you how to, to show you how to navigate the website to navigate the Eat Right website as you're looking through Ascend accredited programs to identify those that would meet the needs that you have to potentially fulfill those DPD requirements. So now shifting back gears to kind of close this out, Leah and Alex, do you have any advice for students who are currently applying or considering applying? And what are some of your favorite things about New Orleans?
I think for applying to the internship, I think just some general advice, like have an open mind. And what Joseph said about if you do have an idea about where you end up, and which I had no idea what I wanted to do, so it's totally fine if you have no idea. But if you have some ideas or general interests and you're looking at around at internships, whether it's Tulane or another, really looking at what rotations they offer, doing some research, seeing if if you're very interested in, like I was really interested in sports going into it. I still am really interested in sports. So I love that at Tulane's we had a sports rotation. So that was something that I was looking for. Um, I also like then during my program, I ended up at Children's Hospital, which I never thought I was going to end up in a hospital. Like I went into the internship saying I will not end up in a hospital. So I think just having an open mind. So even if you see some rotations that you're like, I would never do that, you might end up loving it. And then New Orleans in general, what Joseph said, I love the community. I'm from New Jersey. It's very fast and cold there. Here it's kind of the opposite. It's a lot slower. People are friendlier. Um, and yeah, I don't know. I love it here.
Thanks so much, Leah. Alex, do you have something to add?
Yeah, I would say for me, I think what helped me a lot was trying to connect with someone at each of the programs and really like ask questions and kind of introduce yourself as a student and um, just talk to them about the program, not only like what you can offer, but also what they can offer you as a student. I think was really helpful for me as I was trying to decide where to go and what I wanted and what people offered. And then for New Orleans, I'm a big foodie, so I love all the different food here. It's a lot more interesting than my small Texas town, so I do love that. Um, and I also just like the people here. Everyone is like really nice and open. Um, so that's been good too. I like living in your city. So.
Thank you all so much for sharing. Lee, anything else to close us out?
No, but I have put all of the ways to contact our office if you have any questions, so feel free. I already had a student reach out to me, so I love that. Feel free to connect. And like I said, I would love to put you in contact with our student ambassador who's on this call, Alexandra Beck. So yeah, please feel free to reach out, and thank you for being here today.
Yeah, thanks again for joining. Thank you to all of our alum and faculty and staff who are on the call today too. Appreciate you.
Thank you for having us. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right. Bye, everyone. Take care. Have a
Bye.
great
Bye.
rest of
Thanks.
your day.